Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for today's webinar on CloudBees Jenkins Distribution, or as you will see it mentioned a few times in the slides, CJD. Just want to let everyone know a few things up top. One, we are recording. We're actually going to be pushing the half hour a little bit, including Q&A. So if you need to leave and you missed that portion, you will be able to view that later. If you need to leave for any other reason, you'll be able to view this later, or even if you have a colleague who's not able to join, they'll be able to see it later. On top of that, if you ask a question and you're unable to stay for when we're answering them, or we're not able to get to it on the air, you can actually reply right to your confirmation email and it comes directly to me, and I'll make sure that we get an answer out for you. We're doing this is a CloudBees webinar that we're doing in part with DigitalOcean, with Microsoft Azure, with AWS, and with Google Cloud. We're very excited to have everyone on board and talk about all the options for you here today. I don't want to take up too much more time. Last thing I'll let you all know is at the very end, when I close this out, a very brief survey will appear just asking what you thought, what you'd like to learn more about in the future. If you're able to answer that for us, it'd be really helpful so we know what we should be talking about later on that you all want to learn. Beyond that, I don't really want to take up too much more time, so we have a fair amount of content to get through. So I'd like to introduce our first speaker for today, Parker Ennis from CloudBees. Parker.
Thank you, Max. Appreciate that. Welcome, everybody. Good morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you are. We're really glad that you're here with us today, and I hope you'll get some value from this webinar on CloudBees Jenkins Distribution and the availability in your favorite cloud marketplaces. So the agenda today, we'll go through some introductions. I'll set the stage why we're here, talk about the reality today, also go through CloudBees Jenkins Distribution and what it is, the plugins included, and what's ahead there. Should take about 15-20 minutes, and then we will go into the cloud marketplace availability. And each of our panelists from the respective partners and cloud providers will have a few minutes to go through their marketplace availability slides. And then we'll have some time for Q&A in the end, and then we'll wrap it up. So my name is Parker Ennis. I'm a product marketing manager here at CloudBees. Been here a little over 3 years, and I'm joined by Jen Bryden. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Parker. Yeah, I'm Jen Bryden. I'm a director of product management here at CloudBees, and Parker and I worked very closely together on the initial release of CloudBees Jenkins Distribution, and I'm excited that you're all here. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Jen, and a big welcome to the cloud partners and panelists that are spending some time with us today. We'll go top to bottom. If you'd like to introduce yourself, Bill.
Sure, thanks, Parker. It's Bill Morozes from AWS Marketplace. I lead business development for a number of our seller categories, including storage, data analytics, the fast-growing DevOps space, and migration tools and applications.
Antonio?
Thank you. I'm Antonio Rosales. I'm the engineering manager for the Marketplace team over at DigitalOcean.
Awesome. And from Google Cloud?
Hi, I'm Hui. I'm an engineer tech lead on the Marketplace team. Our focus, Marketplace has a lot of offerings, and our focusing is on the VM, Kubernetes, besides and SaaS.
Awesome. Thank you. And from Microsoft Azure?
Hi, I'm Ewan Dalton. I'm a partner business development manager with Microsoft. I work with CloudBees on a number of fronts really, but we've been working over the last year or so to bring a number of offerings into the marketplace.
Excellent. Thanks so much. And so we'll get started. Why we're here. We want you to start building stuff that matters with CloudBees Jenkins Distribution. It's very exciting. It's a fairly new offering, and we want to show you why and how it's important to start doing so. We've adopted the start building stuff that matters or build stuff that matters mantra here at CloudBees, and I think it really speaks to what we're trying to do and what our offerings portray. Oops, skipped a slide. So setting the stage. If you haven't heard of the DOOR report or the State of DevOps report, it's one of the largest and longest running pieces of research in its kind. 5+ years of work serving tens of thousands of technical professionals worldwide. It lets us understand how people are delivering their software today and how we can generate better business outcomes from that. And you know, something that may be obvious to some, maybe not to others, is CI/CD and automation are becoming increasingly more important for organizations to deliver their software better and faster. And with that comes a growing importance and growing benefits of utilizing the cloud. And we're seeing that 67% of organizations host their primary app or service in some sort of cloud. and you can see why the advantage exists to do that, right, in those little bullet points. And the cloud is going to keep increasing. That public cloud market looks to be $17 billion or so. And by 2020, we could have over 80% of workloads operating in the cloud. So really, really powerful stuff. And you see some logos there: Target, Netflix, VW, examples from different industries of what digital transformation and really going all in with the cloud and CI/CD can do for you. They've really, really made huge leaps and strides in the past 5-10 years. And so CI/CD is Jenkins, right? I think we set the stage for the importance of it, and with that becomes Jenkins being increasingly more important. It's been around since 2004 in the Hudson days, and over the last 10 years, we see a growing adoption of open source software, and Jenkins being at the forefront of that. You can see some stats there: 20 million users, 200,000 implementations, over 20 million jobs. Really, really great numbers, and they're continuing to increase, and these are conservative as well. And at CloudBees, we're really, really happy to be responsible for over 80% of those Jenkins commits, and a significant sponsor of the Jenkins project as well. So this Jenkins movement is not something that's going away, and it's something that's directly linked with CI/CD. There is a reality today, though, right? With the good comes some bad as well. So setting up CI/CD on Jenkins isn't exactly intuitive. It isn't exactly tailored to help development teams get started quickly and reliably doing CI/CD. And some of these common challenges you see in Jenkins can include plugin management, right? Maybe key plugins that you need to do your work on included right out of the box. Maybe managing those plugins can be clunky or clumsy and difficult. Upgrading, right, can sometimes bring some pain to the user. And then getting set up for CI/CD right out of the box. Some things that might make you go, I don't know if you like Office Space, but great movie. And so that's kind of where we are, right? There is a natural gap, and although Jenkins is great, there's some things that can be improved, right? So CloudBees Jenkins Distribution is born. We mentioned Jenkins continues to thrive. And CloudBees, we're in a unique position to both participate and lead the way towards making Jenkins the best it can be for both new and existing users. And that's why we're proud to announce the first of its kind, which is our free CloudBees Jenkins distribution. That's everything you know and love about Jenkins, right? With added functionality from your experts here at CloudBees. And why are we doing this? There's a few really, really big things here. We want to get new users into Jenkins and CI/CD. We want to grow those relationships among the existing community and make that experience better. We want to be able to contribute improvements that matter back to the open source community, make Jenkins easier to support, and obviously provide a stable, modern, and tailored Jenkins user experience. And when you pair CI/CD and CloudBees Jenkins distribution together, and it becomes more important in how you deliver your software, we find that some of those struggles mentioned in the last slide, people deal with more often. So, I'm really excited to see CloudBees Jenkins distribution here to be able to address some of that and contribute back to the open source community. So Rethinking Jenkins, right? CloudBees Jenkins distribution is designed for development teams and organizations alike investing in CI/CD. It's going to give you stability, security, a verified upgrade pass out of the box, and it is built on top of that most recent Jenkins LTS or long-term support version. It's free. The best part, you can go download it right now, completely free to download and use perpetually, and really easy to get started. And you'll notice a little screenshot on the right. It doesn't look like your classic Jenkins, right? A little bit of branding there, a little more aesthetically pleasing, and we'll dive into the value a little bit more that's described here. Easy upgrades, increased stability, and easy setup are three big value points for what I like to call Jenkins tailored for you, or CloudBees Jenkins distribution. And this is the first iteration of our CloudBees Jenkins distribution initiative and offering. So we're going to keep adding improvements to this. And if you got to take away, what are three things that I'm going to gain from using CloudBees Jenkins distribution coming away from this webinar? Easy setup. Let's get started right away, right? Start building your applications in the blink of an eye. Increased stability, right? Let's have a highly dependable and secure environment to be working in, and smooth upgrades, right? Wave goodbye to those failed Jenkins upgrades and stop working on the weekends to fiddle with that and have a seamless upgrade experience that we can help you with here at CloudBees. And some feature plugins that are included in the distribution. We'll get into more details on exactly what these are in a slide for each of these. So we've got CloudBees Jenkins Advisor, CloudBees Assurance Program, and Beekeeper Upgrade Assistant. These three are all proprietary plugins. So the source code is closed, but it is included free in the CloudBees Jenkins distribution, so value that you can't get in the open source option. And CloudBees Jenkins Advisor, CloudBees Assurance Program, and Beekeeper add a whole lot of value into the user experience. And I will dive into these in a little bit more detail for you. I can stop double clicking on all my slides. So we've got CloudBees Assurance Program. This is the testing process. It's thoroughly tested behind the scenes. Our engineers, the experts, the people committing the code to Jenkins that know it best, do in-depth testing of top open source plugins. They test for interoperability, compatibility against core and other plugins. And this CloudBees Assurance Program provides the list of curated components or a list of plugins and that'll work with each other, excuse me, and have guaranteed to work together is the best way to put it. And there are hours of testing in every one of these releases, and it's really difficult to replicate this program outside of CloudBees. And that is exposed through something we call CloudBees Assurance Program. And the Beekeeper Upgrade Assistant works with this CloudBees Assurance Program as the enforcer in the product. So you can think of the CloudBees Assurance Program as the testing behind the scenes that provides this list of plugins that work. You can think of the Beekeeper Upgrade Assistant as the NUI enforcer or administrative dashboard of the CloudBees Assurance Program. You can see the screenshot there. It's giving you a few different options, right? No upgrades are available. You don't have any security warnings. No plugin dependencies that you need to look out for right now. And so it's continuous monitoring of Jenkins and helps maintain that healthy state of your instance. And optional enforcement of that recommended configuration is also included. So you can do automatic upgrades or downgrades, which can also be very, very handy. CloudBees Jenkins Advisor. So this is a really, really neat value add, in my opinion. Our support team here at CloudBees uses this, right? So CloudBees Jenkins Advisor, once you install this plugin, automatically analyzes your Jenkins environment and proactively identifies potential issues. It could be security, performance related, et cetera, and it advises you on recommendations to take based off our knowledge base that we create. Once we solve and diagnose problems for customers, we write them into a knowledge base, always expanding, and then this script goes to look and say, hey, this might be wrong. Let me know it. Let you know ahead of time before it intensifies and can become a bigger problem. So yeah, automatic scanning of your Jenkins master, identify those potential issues and alert the user. And you can see that there's an email address. You can type in any email address of your choice and get those reports sent right to you on a daily cadence. So really, really powerful. I don't want you to forget about CloudBees Jenkins Support. So CloudBees Jenkins Distribution and CloudBees Jenkins Support go best together. Our Jenkins expertise is unparalleled. We've got the largest group of Jenkins certified engineers anywhere. We've got KK deeply involved CloudBees as an employee of CloudBees. We contribute 80%, you've heard me say that already, to the Jenkins project as an open source project. So we know Jenkins, we know it best, and we want to help others maximize their investment into Jenkins as well. 24/7 support is available. We also have a program called Assisted Updates that is, in some cases, live assistance to help you update, or proactive assistance through our help desk to help you update. And I see a lot of value, and so the customers that have been using that to save them time and make their life easier when they're working in Jenkins. You can, of course, go to cloudbees.com, look in the product services, and check out CloudBees Jenkins Support to get more info, and we'd be happy to help you. So what's ahead with CloudBees Jenkins Distribution? There's a lot of good stuff coming. You've seen just the start. Support for Java 11, that's done, and a really big improvement. Jenkins configuration as code. If you haven't heard of it, do a quick Google search, check it out. Support for configuration as code is coming soon in CloudBees Jenkins Distribution, and we'll also be contributing that back to the open source community, which we're really, really happy to hear that. And of course, some first run UX improvements. Really excited for this too, and soon there'll be some more information on that. And I think you'll be just as excited when you see it. And of course, some more that we're actively working on to make CloudBees Jenkins Distribution the best it can be. And so with that, we will move into CloudBees Jenkins Distribution in the cloud marketplaces. Once again, thank you to our cloud panelists on today. And we will get started right into the first, which is AWS. Take it away.
Thanks, Parker. First, thanks for the time to be able to speak to the audience. Customers come to AWS to innovate and are finding tremendous opportunities on our platform to do that. The marketplace is one of the engineering services within AWS. So we have over 150 services, one of which is Marketplace. And it's really in place to provide a frictionless experience for you, the customer, to be able to come in, find the application or the tool that you're looking for. You can do research on use case. You can do it by seller category. You can test that software. You can run a free trial and then ultimately deploy it in any number of software mechanisms, which I'll talk a little bit about those in the near future. But it all starts with selection from AWS. That's really the first leadership principle that we go for, and that's why we've provided such a breadth of selection, in particular in the fast-growing DevOps category. So we have over 1,400 ISVs represented with a tremendous number of product listings, over 4,800. That translates to roughly 230,000 active customers per month who are doing that research, deploying applications. There are over 1 million active subscriptions per month. And so our customers are coming in and they're deploying around the globe. So we have presence in over 18 regions and 64 availability zones. We'll actually be adding 12 additional availability zones this year, including 4 new regions, and those will be in Bahrain, Indonesia, Italy, and South Africa. So we continue to broaden the reach of the marketplace globally. I think from a broader perspective, certainly you as the DevOps community want to be able to have easy, frictionless access to applications, and we provide that to you through the marketplace. But there are others at your enterprise companies that have concerns around compliance, regulation, and security. And so the marketplace seeks to address those concerns too while you're innovating in the AWS infrastructure. So for example, we offer flexible consumption and contract models for your procurement organization to be able to tailor their subscriptions and manage cost. You're able to actually integrate any of the applications that you choose to deploy in our infrastructure with our cost optimization tools. So if you're a user of AWS Cost Explorer, you have the opportunity to manage your deployment and using that for optimization. From an entitlement perspective, it also allows you as the DevOps community to have access to hourly subscriptions. So you can quickly spin up and spin down instances for your purposes. But then when you move to production, you're able to access annual subscriptions where your procurement organization would proactively negotiate far better terms from any of the ISV providers. So again, think of this as a portal for you to do innovation work and homework, but also for the long-term management of deployment and provisioning of software. It's also a secure environment, so your CISO is happy because all the applications and our security scan 24/7 in the environment, so that checks a box for you there. It actually allows for asset tagging, so your procurement organizations are able to either lay on top of the marketplace third-party applications or using AWS Service Catalog to tag assets and manage them to be in compliance. It also allows us to consolidate your consumption in AWS. So that's a combination of any of the over 150 services you would deploy, as well as any of the third-party spend, including CloudBees. And so that's convenient for your finance community, as well as aggregating all of your spend against your committed spend, or EDP as we refer to that as AWS. All of this is in a purpose to allow you to leverage the innovation that's going on at AWS. Just this past year, for example, we had over 1,957 feature releases just in 2018. So that allows you to go in and leverage the community of services and capabilities in AWS while you're deploying CloudBees applications. Next slide, please. So again, just hitting on some high points here, as I mentioned, 39 categories in Marketplace. These are the 8 most often deployed or provisioned. You can see a lot of the infrastructure software here with regard to networking and security and storage. So this would be your VP of infrastructure going in and creating the infrastructure in which you would do your innovation. DevOps, as you can see, is one of the fastest growing, one of our top 8 categories listed here. But the point here is breadth of selection. It's not just a procurement site, it's one where you find, manage, and provision your software seamlessly. And as I mentioned, you also have various purchasing options, free trials on a number of the applications that you find, moving on to metered applications, so pay as you go, either hourly or monthly. And then the more traditional longer term application purchasing options like annual and multi-year contracts. You can even begin by bringing your own license if your relevant ISV has an application such listed. Private offers, if for just a moment here, is a custom offering. So it allows you and your ISV to customize the procurement terms of any contract and instantiate that as a purchase through the marketplace. So we found a lot of the seller organizations have really liked this feature. And then again, finally, a wide choice of deployment vehicles, whether that's the AMI or the Amazon Machine Image. We do find a lot of enterprise companies moving as fast as they can to SaaS, but if you aren't doing that, that's fine. You can deploy in our infrastructure with Omnis, APIs, CFTs, or CloudFormation templates, and containers as we continue to list. Next slide, please. So we're proud to partner with CloudBees to make available CloudBees Jenkins Distribution and the core application easily found in Marketplace. In the search bar, you can search on CloudBees, you can search on the name of the application, or you can go to the drop-down menu in the top left corner under the use cases for DevOps and see all of those tools available to you there, including those from CloudBees. Thanks, Parker.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bill. Forgot to intro you with your name there.
No worries.
All right, we'll move along here from DigitalOcean. We have Antonio. Take it away, Antonio.
Yeah, thanks, Parker. Good morning. At DigitalOcean, we're obsessed with bringing simplicity to developer workflows. Thus, we partner with CloudBees to distill their operational knowledge and best practices into repeatable software that developers can install on the VMs. So with CloudBees Jenkins Distribution, developers can get a solid CI/CD workflow and deploy that onto a VM in under a minute, and then tailor it as you normally would with any VM, with bits such as memory and CPU, data center location, backups, networking options, SSH keys, and tags. With that, you have your CloudBees Jenkins Distribution ready to go, and you can use it as you normally would and concentrate on your value add, your idea, iterate on your business. So leave the operational configuration to the one click and be able to focus on what you want to do, your science, your application. With that, we work with a lot of our customers to help them grow their business. We're very keen on helping our customers grow their businesses. And with that, we provide services such as Hatch, which is a global startup program to get early startups off and running and provide them infrastructure needs, mentoring and training, and also just infrastructure runtime. We also provide support, everything from free, if you need more of an SLA or a faster response time with services and support. And then if folks just want to try the platform and give it a quick test, we provide a free trial. So for new users coming in, they can do a free trial and get 30 days and a $50 credit to see how the platform works and try it out for themselves before they make any long-term commitments. For this webinar, we're giving away a limited edition Jenkins Sammy sticker. So for the first 150 webinar attendees who create CloudBees Jenkins Distribution one-click, we'll make sure to get that sticker to you. So hit the free trial, spin up a CloudBees Jenkins Distribution and give it a try and see what you think. Next slide, please. So here's a URL if you want to take a look at actually seeing what the CloudBees Jenkins Distribution looks like in the DigitalOcean Marketplace. Visit marketplace.digitalocean.com, and from there, there's a set of categories you can look at and browse. CloudBees Jenkins Distribution is under the developer tools. So click that or just search for CloudBees Jenkins Distribution. And you go here. What's really nice on this form is you can see a description of what CloudBees Jenkins Distribution includes. As Parker mentioned, all the operational configuration distilled in there so you can focus on your idea. Ready to go. There's also, you can create it through our API. So got a quick snippet back there if you're at the command line and want to deploy it just from the command line or put it into automated workflow. There's the API and some additional getting started instructions and community tutorials for folks who need some more information or just want to take advantage of some of the tutorials we have over on DigitalOcean. With that, I want to thank Parker for the time here and hand it back to him.
Thanks, Antonio. Awesome stuff. We'll keep moving along. From Google Cloud, we have Hui. I hope I said that correctly. Please take it away.
Thank you, Parker. Yeah, that's my name, Hui. So just a quick overview of Google Cloud Marketplace. It's a digital catalog of Google and third-party products for developers to discover, procure, and deploy software on Google Cloud Platform. So in here, we have a lot of offerings from VMs to containers to Kubernetes applications to SaaS subscription and APIs, public data sets, as well as dev tools. So today, I'd like to focus on two things that CloudBees Jenkins Distribution has offering on Google Cloud Marketplace, which is VM and cloud native deployment or Kubernetes. So the screenshot on the right is what you see when you choose to deploy the CloudBees Jenkins Distribution on Google Cloud Platform. You can customize the distribution, and with one click, you have CloudBees up and running on Google Cloud. In addition to VM, we also offer deploying to Google Kubernetes Engine clusters, and as well as Anthos clusters. So Anthos was announced as Google Next this year, and it's a platform that supports both hybrid and on-prem clusters. So from the same UI with familiar technology, you can deploy to both in cloud as well as on-premise, and your application should work flawlessly in both environments. I would also like to highlight other enterprise features, as Marketplace does support a lot of enterprise users. So in Google Cloud Platform, we have commercial applications and with integrated billing. So you receive one billing for invoice from Google. And when you try this commercial application, we also have flexible pricing where you can have trial or private pricing. And if you sign on to Google Cloud today, you get $300 credit, where you can use in infrastructure or pay for these licenses. And individual products also have separate trial periods for you to try out. And with Kubernetes, we're also introducing managed updates for Kubernetes applications, where once you install the application will continue to receive updates that you don't have to worry about kubectl to apply to keep them up to date anymore. So with that, thank you, Parker, and back to you.
Thank you, Hui. And we have one more cloud provider here from Microsoft Azure. Welcome, Ewan.
Hi, Parker. Thank you very much. So kind of echoing what the other guys have said, really, it's CloudBees Jenkins Distribution and CloudBees Core, in fact, are both published in the Azure Marketplace. So Azure has been growing over the last 10 years or so. Some people that are not from a traditional Microsoft development background might have traditionally associated it with Windows, but in fact, getting on for half of all the VMs deployed in the Azure infrastructure are running Linux. So it's pretty much a broad church these days. But on the left-hand side, this is a view within the Azure management portal itself. So if you just click on create a resource, then you get to see all of the different things you could add in there. And the search bar at the very top lets you just put in the name of anything that's in the marketplace. So if you start typing CloudBees Jenkins Distribution and at the very top of that dialog, then it will take you to the page that lets you then create the actual VM. So at the moment, CJD is deployed as a virtual machine template. So there are 54 regions in the Azure environment. You get to choose where you want to deploy it. You get to choose how big the VM is. It's obviously running on Linux, and the licensing arrangement is essentially at the moment anyway a bring your own license deal. So if you're an existing CloudBees customer, you get to just deploy it, and you can provide the license as part of the step through to set the thing up. So it's a relatively straightforward thing, few clicks and you're done basically. Okay, so simple as that. Back to Parker. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Ewan. And with that, that is a wrap as far as the slide content. We max how much time we have for Q&A, but we definitely want you to try CloudBees Jenkins Distribution today. There's a couple of links there at the bottom if you want to download from your favorite cloud providers, interested in support, or CloudBees Jenkins Distribution from our website.
All right, thanks, Parker. We'll get through a few questions now. If you think of any as we're, to the audience, if you think of any as we're going through, please feel free to ask. These slides will also be made available with the recording, so you'll be able to click right on all these URLs. I will say we've been asked for the DigitalOcean URL. And Tony, if you want to just ping me that right in the chat, I'll post it out to everybody. In the meantime, let's move over to another question, and let's start with one for DigitalOcean on that note. Will DigitalOcean allow me to choose between VMs and Kubernetes for my one-click apps?
Currently, the one-clicks are for VM-based, but we're actually starting some new experiments and getting software like one-clicks installed onto our new Kubernetes offerings that just went GA here that was announced at KubeCon EU. So stay tuned. You'll see some more solutions in the Kubernetes space for DigitalOcean.
All right, thank you, Antonio. And Parker and Jen, this one will be for you. I'm going to do a two-parter here. So okay. The first part is, when you say that CloudBees Jenkins Distribution is free, do you mean it's a free trial or that it's free?
Great question. We mean it is free, right? You can go right now to cloudbees.com, go to products, CloudBees Jenkins Distribution, a couple clicks, that file is installed in the manner of your choosing, whether it's a WAR file or whether it's deployed through these Cloud Marketplace. It is, when I say it's free, you can go and download it and get started. You won't even need to come to us to get a license manually, as long as your network is not air-gapped and you can connect to the internet. You can go straight through, activate your instance for no money at all.
Yeah, so CloudBees Jenkins Distribution, as Parker said, is free forever. And then, of course, like if you're deploying through our cloud partners, then there's the costs associated with the partners. But I know that Antonio had a link there, for example, for some free marketplace time that you can have there as well. And I believe the other providers have promotions for that in some places as well.
All right, now let's do the second part of this, which is, what is the process to upgrade from a basic Jenkins install to a CloudBees Jenkins Distribution install?
Yeah, so we have instructions on which I can send you the link, Max, on the CloudBees website. It's fairly seamless transition, unless you've done some customizations in there. We have some, like say if you've changed the Jenkins home location. Our intent is always to provide really good documentation for that. So if you run into any issues, just let our support team know. But we've thoroughly tested the upgrade. We've also tested the return to open source Jenkins. So our intent is not to have this be something that you're locked into.
Yep. Great points. Yep. Should be easy. As she mentioned, we have migration guides for both of those use cases, and happy to get those over to you.
Perfect. All right. So just so everyone knows, I did put the DigitalOcean URLs in the chat. I'll get these URLs and post them in the chat as well shortly. And again, when you get the slides, you'll be able to click on everything right from the PDFs. So let's move on to the next one I'm looking at here. Will DigitalOcean, and I'm sorry, I should say, Antonio, this will be for you. Will DigitalOcean have another popular SaaS, or excuse me, will DigitalOcean have other popular SaaS tools and APIs that I want to use alongside my projects?
Yeah, so right now, the marketplace has around 50 plus other SaaS tools and products out there to use. Well, right now they're deployed onto a VM. We're bringing those into an API experience also. So whether you want to get those into your actual VMs or whether you want to do those into a Kubernetes model, you'll have those. Today you can go to a marketplace. We launched that in the early part of this year to see what categories we have and what solutions we have that currently be offered on VM one-clicks.
All right. So Jen and Parker, let's kind of take that that last question one step further.
Okay.
So once you upgrade from the basic the Jenkins OSS to the CloudBees Jenkins distribution, how much of a process is it to migrate the actual jobs being done?
It's an in-place migration, so so can update. It's not a separate code base. We're built off of the Jenkins Long-Term Support release, so there is no migration or configuration that you have to do there to make your jobs work.
All right, and this could be for really anyone. Are there, depending on where you download CloudBees Jenkins distribution from, are there inherent differences in what you're downloading and installing?
You want to take that, Jen, or me? I think the inherent difference is going to be on the cloud marketplace, right? Obviously, Jen mentioned earlier, there's going to be some consumption-based cost associated with that, but I know they also have promotions. I think that would be the main difference. Functionally, Jen, you can correct me, but I don't think there's a difference there.
Yeah, the base image is the same. So you can also, so we have a download as well as the cloud links that we've provided off of the CloudBees website, which is a VM essentially. It's not you can install it on bare metal or on a VM, right? And then you could take that and deploy it where you like. There's also a Docker image on the Docker Hub, which you can do a poll for and test it out if you want to see what it looks like before you get into it and deploying it on with one of our cloud partners. And I know that our business development team has been working with each of our cloud partners to create a best experience that's applicable to the infrastructure for those providers. And over time, we're going to be working to continually improve that. So you're getting the best value and benefit of that from both CloudBees Jenkins distribution and CloudBees Core on your cloud of your choice.
Awesome.
All right, this one is aimed at CloudBees, but I like to open up to anybody just in case anyone does or does not support this. So someone's looking to try to set up DevOps on mainframe ZOS. Does CloudBees Jenkins distribution support ZOS integration or any of the other tools we've been talking about here?
That might be one I have to check on and get back to, unless you know.
I don't think our primary supported install is through the various Linux flavors, Windows, and obviously Docker, and then the cloud provider options through Kubernetes or VM. So we can get back to you on that specific question.
All right. Are you locked into a certain set of plugins, or can you install non-blessed plugins, is how they put it? How quick are updates to the blessed plugins integrated?
Great question. Yeah, of course. One of the things that makes Jenkins great is not only its community, but the plugin ecosystem, right? Over 1,500 of those. So you can of course use all those 1,500 that are out there in addition to the blessed plugins, as you mentioned.
And there's as far as how often they're updated. So we have an internal team at CloudBees that focuses just on Jenkins security. In fact, most of the security work that you see happening there, including the releases of Jenkins overall and security releases, is done by CloudBees employees and in partnership with people in the community and COSA-K. In the testing that we do, we have a bunch of automation as well as other heuristics to look at stuff and reports coming in from the community. So if there's a security issue, we update the plugin immediately and let you know through the notification bar in Jenkins that there's an update. And then within Beekeeper, you can seamlessly update that, choose to do whether automatic upgrades if you want as well. Then there's the second question or part of that, which is as the, say it's whether it's CloudBees or one of our partners or an open source maintainer of a plugin updates and adds new releases of those plugins, how often we update those. And we do our best to stay on top of those releases, and we have that through an inventory that we maintain. We sometimes have a bit of additional integration or updates that we have to do working with the open source or partner per maintainer, and sometimes that's why there's a little bit of a delay in getting those in there, because we need to make sure that we are providing that assurance to anybody using the plugins that we test to know that those are compatible with each other, as well as the latest long-term support release of Jenkins, which CloudBees Jenkins Distribution is built on top of.
All right, great. Antonio, how do you feel that DigitalOcean and CloudBees Jenkins Distribution will help my business grow?
Yeah, one of the things we really try to work on at DigitalOcean is for our customers, as I said before, trying to get them to a place where they're focusing on their business value, where they're iterating on an idea, they're spending, 90% of their effort, their time on their unique app, what they're interested in, whether that be a project for a personal or their business. In this case, for your business, the more time we can enable you to spend on your actual business and growing your business and thinking about how you reach out to your customers, how you improve your product, what are the features you need to put into your business. That's winning for us, right? So with that intent, with that mind frame, we want to look at partnering with vendors who bring operational best practices and tools and services that you need for your business. So one of those critical things in developing, an online business or a technology-based business is a good CI/CD workflow. So you would have the option to go ahead and look at wiki pages and see how to install it, see how to configure it, and deploy it, and you can certainly do that. But with automation and taking best practices from the actual authors themselves, putting that into repeatable software and helping that get deployed so you can get that CI/CD workflow, but not spend your time and your effort and your energy on getting that deployed, is valuable. So get the operational practices, get the best practices and operational goodness from the authors, get the deployed where you need it, and kind of outsource that to the authors so you can then spend your time on your business. So if you have that and you get CI/CD workflow going, you then have more time to focus on your business, and that's the intent here. Does that answer the question, or can I elaborate a little bit more on it?
We're just about at the end of the question, so if you want to elaborate a little bit further, please do.
No, it's fine. I just want to make sure that folks are saying in this world where we have repeatable software, we really want to make it where the folks making the software are given best practice on how to install it to enable businesses to focus on their value add. It's not value add when we're trying to have a repeatable thing that should be always configured in a certain exact way. Let's just automate that and make it the best practices so folks who are coming in to use it aren't wasting their energy on actual configuring and deploying it. They're using their energy and their resources on actually using it and applying it to their business and seeing how they can add value to their actual business, where that's the unique piece, not configuring it and installing it.
All right, thank you. So we're just about 45 after the hour, and the questions are really slowed down. I think we're going to end it here for now. Before we sign off, our presenters, do any of you have anything you want to mention before we go?
Just a big thank you to everyone from our cloud providers that got on today. Great stuff, and glad you were able to hop on.
Thanks, Parker. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks everyone. Thanks for joining us. And again, there's going to be a very short survey as we close this out, just asking what you thought we'd like to learn more about. We'd appreciate it if you could take a minute to answer that, and we'll talk to you all again real soon. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks everybody.
Bye.